Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Today, it's going to be a match between ByuL and Rhett here on Heartbreak Ridge, left side of the map. It is the Brown Protoss player ByuL. Now, I know what you're saying. ByuL was a Terran player, Falcon. That is very true. I can't find any instance of him playing Protoss, but I don't know. Sometimes players off-race, right? This could be ByuL, but I don't know entirely. For sure. On the bottom, on the right-hand side, we have the orange Zerg player. It is Rhett. Oh, good stuff. We get worker counts now. Oh, I'm so excited. This is new. This is new to the replay interface. We get worker counts in addition to total army supply counts. Oh my gosh, how many times have I been like, how many workers are we at? Oh, I don't know. Total army supply is bigger, so there's probably more workers, I guess. It's so hard to count them, especially after you get to the point where there are like 20 here. I don't know, it's around 20. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. It's hard. It's hard to count. So, dang, thank you. Thank you, Blizzard. Also, they introduced the ability to choose one of like 800 colors when you're playing a game of StarCraft, which there are 3 different shades of yellow you can choose, which is not confusing at all. I can tell you that much. I believe Dead Infested Terran in the Discord the other day was like, hey, so the colors are so similar that I killed one of my teammates' units the other day? Because we were playing a team game and I thought he was on the other team and all this confusion. Yeah, I can see that happening. It makes total sense to me. So, I don't know. There's going to be confusion for that for a while unless they decide to change it. But anyway, Forge opening here from ByuL. Again, I don't think it's really ByuL, but this guy's got a decent amount of APM. He seems to know what he's doing. He's going to take Rhett into a macro-style game, so he can't be terrible. He can't be a terrible smurf. And why would you smurf with another professional player's name? It doesn't make any sense at all. ByuL might actually be more known for his StarCraft 2 scene, where he did go pro in that 2012, as I was casting a bunch of his stuff back in 2015, and he didn't do much after that. Like, some of my earliest casts are from ByuL, playing in StarCraft 2, Wings of Liberty, but then he stopped, and I guess he retired. It doesn't say he officially retired, he just kind of stopped. So, it happens. It happens sometimes. So yeah, here's your Forge Fast Expand. Nothing too crazy. Out of ByuL here. He is probe scouting, recognizing the pool first play out of Red and saying there are lings on the way. Prepare and batten down the hatches. Although he sees only 2 lings pop out. That's good. He kept the probe around to make sure the number of lings that popped out were enough to warrant a cannon. And it's not. Oh, hang on. You might want to just cancel that. ByuL guy. Maybe he's worried about more coming now that he can't scout because there's a ling chasing him around. I don't know. He only saw 2 lings come out of there. I think we got this. I guess maybe 2 lings getting in is annoying, and 2 lings dealing with 2 lings is terrible. Especially if your gateway's not even close to done yet. So fair enough. Getting a cannon up is cheaper. And then the double expand, the second and third coming up fast from Rhett to compensate for the fact that he went for a pool first and slowing down his economy just a little bit. So, good response here. I mean, basically the probe necessitated him making exactly 2 Zerglings to deal with this probe, and then he's really not, I don't think, going to really bother about moving out across the map because he knows what he's dealing with here. There's going to be a cannon, there's going to be an expansion, and everything's going to be fine. I mean, Brett is making some assumptions here, to be entirely fair. I get it. Definitely making some assumptions, but the question is he correct? And of course he's correct. ByuL is in no position to come kill him at all. This third base is entirely safe, and the timing is faster than it normally would be, I feel like. So, alright, this works out. It's working out for Rhett. A lot of Heartbreak Ridge recently, guys. So many games from these Foreigner replay packs that I got off of Team Liquid are on Heartbreak Ridge. They're good games, too. They're lots of fun. I like Heartbreak Ridge. I had like a super disappointing Heartbreak Ridge game yet. I'm not sure that I have. It's good. Like, the third base is pretty accessible, but at the same time, not really. Like, to go from your natural to your third is actually a bit of a drive. And your enemy can be there before you can respond to it, take it down. So it's technically close, but by ground, it's a problem. Anyway, Probe's still scouting around because of course he is. And he's going to scout that there's a lair. Oh, so good. So good. I mean, Overlord is scouting here from Red. He's going to see the Stargate and recognize the threat of Corsairs is extremely real. Understandably so. But, yeah, Lair's going to pop. We're going to see a Spire. And based on the gas takings, I think we're just going to see a Spire for Scourge. But we'll keep an eye on that. And again, Citadel of Adun means this could be a Corsair DT style play, which we've seen from time to time, but It isn't necessarily the meta or anything. Ooh, that probe died because it didn't recognize this hatch had come up and couldn't get through. Ouch. Nice macro hatch placement, Rhett. I like it. I'm not sure you intended to catch that probe, but if you did, I'm impressed. So, yeah, looking pretty standard here. By the way, in case you don't know, I do have Falcon Paladin merch. There's a link in the description. Got shirts and hoodies and long sleeve shirts and hats and things. So if you want to check out the merch, click on that link. We also have a new kind of a holiday themed shirt. I know it's early for the holidays, but everybody's selling Christmas stuff at this point of the year. So it's not just us. But if you click on the link, you can see what it is. It's not your standard, not really your standard Falcon Paladin merchandise. If I can tell you that much. So check it out. Enjoy. I laughed uproariously when I first saw it. So give it a try. Aha! That's how you do a tease. Anyway, that probe's dead. Bunch of lings out. Recognizing the threat of a couple zealots out mean there could be more zealots hiding in here. The Overlord can't scout anymore because that Corsair exists and he's not getting home. More Corsairs on the way. Spire finishing up. There's really no anti-air whatsoever. There are no spores to speak of. He's just counting on the Scourge to keep him alive for the time being, which seems a little bit, little gutsy. A little risky, but what is StarCraft except a whole bunch of risks, huh? That's what I always say. Alright, so the Spire is done. Overlords are hiding as well as they can. That's an evolution chamber, so eventually we can have spores. We just don't have them anywhere near to being ready yet. Scourge on the way. Corsair wants to scout first, and then we'll get into the business of killing Overlords because they are ready to be killed. Go, now. Kill the Overlords. Hey. No, but we just had a talk. Corsair. Guy. You can, I mean, I know you expect there are Scourge coming, but at least get some free pot shots off. All right, man. I guess. That Overlord dies. Well done. Well done. Corsair number 2. So 2 Overlords have been killed. Guess what? Red is supply blocked. Losing 2 Overlords in the first 7 minutes is bad. It's a free Zealot, even if you want it. Do you want a free Zealot? No? Okay. Reaction time not super good from Ret. Scourge flying around saying, hey, can we find these? Oh, got him. Oh, had him. That one's dead. And that one ooh, that one stopped for a second. Good micro here from ByuL, though. Not letting another one die. The first one dying was a little bit sloppy for sure, but that's okay. He is making mutas. Ooh. He is making mutas. And here's the traditional 7-minute timing to attack the third base with a bunch of zealots that have speed. Natural base, whatever. Third base looks a little more open. There's only one sunken here with another sunken on the way. I kind of feel like you could go get it, ByuL. You're interested in going to get it? No? Yes? No? I don't know. Either way, these lings are engaging at the very least. They will come wrap around if the zealots commit. So the Zunkans are hitting them and they're getting racked. And smashed a little bit by these Zerglings. Storm coming in from ByuL because he's a good Protoss player and knows that's what you need. Versus a good Zerg player as Red is. And the mutas are out and the Zealots recognize we're not getting home. We want to kill as many Zerglings as we can. Before we go, are they going home? Let's see. Based on their speed and based on how much damage a Mutalisk attack does to these guys, no. Some of them are not. Some of them will just because they split up, which is pretty smart. Although running under an Overlord, maybe not as good. Making Archons to deal with the Mutalisks. Is he still making Corsairs? He is. He's still producing Corsairs, which I'm cool with. And now Hydralisk production on the way from Ret here, too, to deal with the Archons, I have to assume, and the Corsairs. So I don't think this is going to be a mass Mutalisk play. He just made, well, he made 9 of them. It's a pretty good number. Just kidding. He made 11 of them. Probably 12 in that case. Yeah, 12 Mutalisks. Usually they come in pairs is how that works. But yeah, that Corsair Archon ball is a lot of splash damage for you, buddy. Don't go in there. Don't even think about it. It's probably about time for a 4th base, Ret, if I had to say. We got the Protoss on the back foot. They're defending against you, which is fantastic. Taking a 4th base would be a good way to increase your advantage. Expanding over here would be fine. Expanding down here would be okay. But if you want additional gas, this one is better, and this one is better too. Zealot expects there to be a 4th, and there's not. So maybe it's a good thing the expansion is not trying to come up there. Zealot would have shot it down anyway. ByuL's making a bunch of Dragoons. As Dragoons trade pretty effectively versus Mutalisks. One of the first memories I have of StarCraft 2 in the alpha is I think Artosis was commenting on some of the stuff that was happening in the alpha, and he's like, these Mutalisks are tanky. They can take straight up fights, man. They are not Brood War Mutalisks, which is the indication is Dragoons will destroy them. Oh, hang on. And now the Chasers have become the chased. Nice hits. I think they got hits. They did. They didn't kill anything because no 2 hit 1 Corsair, but yeah, so Mutalisks and Brood War are pretty flaky compared to their StarCraft 2 counterparts. As we see here, just that is no reason to go in. That is no reason to dive into that whatsoever. Not even close. What is this guy? Another hatchery on the way. Macro hatch from Rhett. Doesn't seem to feel the need for a 4th base. As long as ByuL's not taking a 3rd, he's not wrong. I just kind of feel like if you're ahead, get more ahead. Is generally how Day 9 describes it, but yeah, we're even at about 10 minutes here, which is not great for the Protoss player. Storming it up, storming his own cannon, which doesn't matter because Storm doesn't do anything to buildings. But, oh gosh. Okay, a couple of Corsairs go down. Still 2 remaining, which is a little bit scary, and the Mutas are going to try to... They're not even separating. Look at this. Whoa, well, I mean, at that point, you might as well commit. Okay. Okay, not committing. That's fine. So it's a distinctly anti-Mutalisk composition here, but the problem is what you need is anti-Hydralisk, which the Storm is for. Without the Storm, this just gets destroyed by the number of Hydras that are on the field. With Storm, okay, we can hang on a little bit. ByuL can hang on just a tiny, tiny bit. Scourge trying to hit stuff. Dragoons say no. +1 attack on those guys. Mutalisks, yeah, no upgrades at all because we are not actually going Mutalisk in this game. We're going Hydralisk. All the way, ladies and gentlemen. Does get a Corsair, takes about a splash damage in the process. Pretty shades of pink and purple here on that health indicator, which is not good. And 4th base coming up at the 12 o'clock position at the 12-minute mark, which seems a little bit late. Man, he's making a lot of Scourge. I don't know why he's bothering, to be honest with you. I mean, I guess he wants to keep the Mutas alive, but why? Like, they are really bad against this particular composition, and they all just died anyway. Feels like a waste of Scourge to me. Waste of resources, waste of larva. But Red's up 126 to 106 total supply. 3rd base is warping in down in the bottom left here for ByuL. And just, again, defensive position, trying to hold this 4th base against any comers that might try to bother him. Well, maybe darting into the main base and killing some stuff here if there's the opportunity to do so. But a lot of cannons are up defending. 3 cannons in the main and 4 cannons in the natural base is a good number of cannons it is. Free probe transferring there. Maybe some damage on that pylon if he wants, but no, decides not to. And the question is, how many High Templar do you have, and how much Storm do you have? And the Mutas are going after the... What? No, you had it for a second. You could have done more damage. Nobody actually mostly responded to that. He's going back in. He's like, you know what? You're right, Falcon. Nobody did really respond to this. I don't expect to be able to kill a Nexus with Mutalisks, but... I mean, if you're going to allow it, sure. Oh my gosh, he's going to get it. Okay, well, that was really bad for ByuL. Like, exceptionally bad for ByuL. The Mutas continue to fly around. Oh, there's a High Templar snipe! High Templar snipe, going in again. Another High Templar down. Storm up, another High Templar down. Couple High Templar remaining. Mutalisk flock. In my flock, I mean, it's 3 at this stage, which is not great. And replacing the Mutalisks. All right, man, so maybe Red is more into Mutas than I thought he was in this game. He made more initially. He's continuing to produce them. Not that he has any upgrades for these guys at all. He has no air carapace upgrades. He has no attack upgrades. All the upgrades will be going to the ground units. Lings and Hydralisks alike, as you can see in the top left. And a Queen's Nest on the way, too. Alright, man. Lings, Hydras coming in from multiple directions right now. This is bad. This is really bad for ByuL, but guess what's also really good for him? Storm's good. Mutalisks getting wrecked by Dragoons is pretty good. But more Hydras is bad. More and more Hydras pouring onto this situation right now. Alright, Zerver sniped, which is pretty good. Although there are, again, no lurkers here, so it doesn't really matter. Zealots, the right side, cleaned up to those Zealots. The top side, not doing as well without support from the right side. And ByuL held that fight beautifully. The Speedlots and the Storm with the Dragoons back here firing away with their +1 attacks. Oh yeah, Mutalisks want to kill that High Templar, and they do. They sacrifice a few of their number to do it. Additional Hydras coming in, but they are outnumbered, and the Storm's unnecessary. Mostly storming your own Zealot there, which is fine. I understand you're dealing with a lot of pressure right now. But yeah, 3rd base does finally come in from ByuL. Nicely done, continuing to make Archons, as Mutalisk production is apparently still a thing from Rhett. Although production tab says not at the moment. We'll keep an eye on that. Yeah, I'm not sure that Mutas are going to be the answer to really anything at this stage. Although, sniping High Templar, they're not bad at it. There are no High Templar up here right now from ByuL's army. When he'd really like to have, 5 or 6. It'd really turn the tide in this game for sure. So ByuL is totally up. His 3rd base is fully saturated. He's been making probes consistently throughout the game, it feels like. And the 4th base, which is minerals only, mind you, is up now for the Zerg player. Still no lurkers, man. High ground in it with these Hydras. I like the positioning. If the Protoss wants to engage, he has to go up some high ground, which he's not really comfortable with. And I still haven't seen lurker aspect researched at all. This is kind of a Zerg after my own heart. He's like, you know what we do with our Queen's Nest? So we go for a hive so we can get 3/3 for our Lings and our Hydras is what we do. And adrenal glands too, don't forget that. Do you use it for defilers? Nah. Do you use it for lurkers? Nah. I mean, not that you need a Queen's Nest for lurkers, but you know what I mean. Just higher tech stuff. He eschews it entirely. He's like, I'm going to out macro you to death, which honestly isn't going to win you any major championships most of the time. Sometimes if you have enough macro, you can do it. Adrenal glands still on the way, and it's 136 to 126 total supply in favor of ByuL. Pretty good army. Again, the tech is much better for the Protoss. He's got Storm, he's got Archons. He's got +2 attack for his dudes. The Hydras are at +2/+1 though, so they're winning that one, and the Lings are at 1/1/1, which is good stuff. I like how he brought all these observers. He is so expecting lurkers, and there just aren't any. Hey, look, lurker aspect and a defiler mount on the way. Rhett was offended at my characterization of his play and said, hey, I use those things. High Templar getting... I mean, these storms are amazing, and Rhett's not really dodging them super well, but somehow there are still a ton of Hydras and Lings remaining. And somehow those Archons are not going to finish, and somehow the High Templar are all dead, and somehow there's a bunch of Lings left to jump on top of these Dragoons and keep them from running home, and just absolutely cutting them off at the pass brutally, and all the Dragoons go down. There are some Zealots responding, there are some Dark Templar responding, there are no Overlords to spot them as it turns out, and the DT... 2 DTs trying to put in the work that the rest of the army should have done. It's 104 to 76 supply. That was a butt-kicking out of Rhett. Overlord shows up, a couple of them actually, because they have speed, and this DT, who has been chomping away at Zerg for a while, just managed to escape with his 4 kills. Is that a base? That's not a base. That's a base, though. Finally, Rhett takes the top left for a 5th. And he's thinking about taking bases on the right side of the base, or right side of the map here, too, so... we will keep an eye on that one. Aha! Top left base. ByuL did find it. He's been watching this for a while, I feel like. And as soon as the hatch was ready to go, the Zealots were like, no, I don't think so. Great storm drop at the top here, too. Several drones go down based on the blood splash. It's about 5. This is alright. And that shuttle is dead. Okay, well, the responding army, pretty intense right now. Out of Rhett. He's got the +2 Carapace, which means he has 2/2 for his Hydralisks. Yeesh. The Lings are working on their +2 attack, too. And we're getting Plague. So patiently here, Rhett just patiently hanging out, defending, expanding, droning. All the things a Zerg player wants to do at about the 18-minute mark of a match. He's got his Defilers. I think he already got Consume. I think I saw that come through the old production tab there. Lings and Hydras coming from both directions. Just kidding, these guys abandoned their buddies. Never mind, that would have been a decent engagement for the Zerg, but these dudes decided to run into some cannons and die, and these guys decided to kill a High Templar, which, okay. I mean, I guess, but all your other dudes are totally dead now. I'm not sure that was a great decision out of you, Rhett. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie, I'm gonna continue to tell you the truth. So keeping these 2 bases is huge, and the fact that ByuL has not been able to get a 4th base at 18 minutes is bad. Like, exceptionally bad here. Robotics Bay coming in right now from ByuL. And an Ultralisk Cavern. Kind of feel like Rhett just doing the ultimate put the hammer down move here by getting the Ultra Cavern. It's not generally that great against Protoss. Archons are pretty good against them. DTs are really good against them. Zealots are good against them. Dragoons with good upgrades are good against them. It's just, Ultras aren't that good. But if you're up already and you're feeling pretty comfortable, then Ultras are not a bad way to go. They're fun. Ultras are one of the funner units, even if they're not good. Ultras for a long time were not super good in StarCraft 2. It's still not that great, to be honest with you, but they have a little bit more viability. They did get them anabolic synthesis recently, if you're curious about how your units are faring in StarCraft 2. But plague attempt. He thought about throwing down a plague up there. Man, these overlords are just spotting all the things. That is such a beautiful plague. And now there's lurkers, and now there's Dark Swarm, and Rhett's like, hey, you thought I couldn't do these things? Guess what? I can do these things. Kindness plating on the way from the ultras, because why get ultras if you're not getting kindness plating? Ooh, storm to zone. Zone observer there a little bit, which was not great. The storms are good at clearing out the lurkers, as they traditionally have been. But so much plague on these Protoss units. Is anybody healthy here? The Archons are, because they don't care. Right? The Archons are most like 99% shield anyway. 99.9% shield. And plague doesn't affect shield. I don't know that you can run in here with just a few units and kill this, but considering how fast these zealots are dying, by golly, maybe you can. He's just eating storm after storm here, and he doesn't care. It's 154 to 116 supply. The High Templar are dead. The Archons don't want to engage with this at all for some reason. I guess maybe Ling Ultra a little scarier than I thought it should be. There you go, making a stand. Doing pretty well, I gotta say, until more Zerg shows up. And then the Archons get killed. The Dark Swarm doesn't really help things there either, and that's your good game ByuL has left. Well played, says Rhett, and he gets the win and taps out in 21 minutes and 18 seconds. Yeah, I mean, once Rhett got his fifth base up, rather, and there was no fourth, trying to get a fourth base never happened. Here from ByuL, that was just it, man. Economically, there was no way he was keeping up with a Zerg. Not at all. The Ultras, again, the giant hammer here. The Archons doing pretty well for themselves. I gotta say, this was the right answer, was the Archons with the Ling and the Ultra, but didn't have enough of it. And it was just a 160, 170 supply Zerg who really hadn't been bothered all that much. He got storm dropped up top a little bit, and his fifth base got attacked a little bit too. But other than that, he was, again, pretty much just allowed to do whatever he wanted, which is the worst possible thing you can do if you're playing a PvZ. So, again, I don't think this is the real ByuL, but somebody going around with his name anyway. Not bad. He has the right ideas, but the timings weren't great. The harassment wasn't very good either. And Rhett just outmacroed him for the most part. That was a Rhett win. So somebody requested Rhett on the channel a few days ago, and I was like, I have a bunch of Rhett replays. Let's find one. Let me tell you something. The Rhett replays that I have are short. There are not many Rhett replays over 20 minutes. A lot of them are 6 minutes, 8 minutes, 12 minutes, right? A lot of that. Rhett was a very much end the game early kind of a dude, one way or the other. So I might do like a Rhett compilation of just his short games and see how they work out. But cool. Let's check out the final score. And hit that like button, by the way, if you liked what you saw here today. And heard, I guess. That matters too. 151,000 points, 146 in favor of Rhett. 539 Zerg units produced to 201 Protoss. That is a ridiculous advantage. And lost 300, but guess how many is remaining? Still a whole bunch. Still a whole bunch. Resources. Getting that third base early was huge for Rhett. Allowed him to mine 6,000 more minerals and spend 6,000 more resources and mine more gas too. So ByuL stuck on two bases for a while. Third base was late. And third base was denied by mutas, which, again, I think Rhett was surprised when he was able to do that. He was like, wait, I can... How'd that work? How'd I deny that base with only mutal-esque? Fantastic question. All right, so, well, that's going to be it from me today. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.